Jesus tells us that devil worship will be all over planet Earth when his feet finally land on the Mount of Olives. Jesus refers to Satan in many different ways. Revelation 12:9 says, and here's a list that you can use to find out who's being spoken about. So the great dragon, okay, that's one definition, one name for Satan, was cast out, that serpent of old. Remember the serpent that tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden, called the devil. So the devil is one of his titles. And Satan, that's another title, who deceives the whole world. And so we have a deceived planet Earth, and it's going to get much worse. The devil uses humans in his worldwide mass deception. The first Hitler of World War II gives us a small sample of the great horror coming when Hitler 2.0, and I say it that way because Hitler was the beginnings, the same kind of mentality, only this coming beast person is going to be Hitler on steroids. Revelation 13:2. Now the beast, beastly person, right, which I saw was like a leopard, and the dragon, devil, right, gave him his power, his throne, and his authority. Can you imagine what it would be like for a great military leader to be given the power and the throne and the authority of Satan, the devil himself? Verse 3, and all the world marveled and followed the beast person. Verse 4, and they, the world, worshipped, notice this, the dragon, the devil, who gave authority to the beast person, the beastly person, and they worshiped the beast. So we've got the worship of the Satan, the devil, we've got the worship of the beast. It's all wrapped up in one great worldwide worship system, not worshiping the true Jesus Christ. And they will be saying, who is like this beastly person, this Hitler 2.0, who is able to make war with him? The beastly, vile, Hitler-like person will be seen as a fantastic military leader, and he will be thought of as Jesus Christ. Why might the world be saying, who can make war with the beast? Why would they say such a thing? Here's a clue in Revelation 9, verse 16. Now the number of his army, of his horsemen, was 200 million. 200 million soldiers. Can you imagine? 200 million soldiers. Now, how does he know that? He finishes the verse with, I heard the number. God is giving him his vision. God is telling him information and details. He tells him the number, 200 million man army. So why would you put together a 200 million man army? Verse 17, and out of their mouths came fire and smoke and brimstone. Verse 18, by these three plagues, a third of mankind will be killed. Can you picture a third of the humans on the planet being killed by fire and by smoke and by brimstone, which came out of their mouths? This future Hitler 2.0 will be far, far worse than the Hitler of World War II. The devil worship will be so bad that the true saints of Jesus will be overcome. Revelation 13:7. And it was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe and every tongue and every nation. We are talking about a worldwide worship system. Verse 8, and all who dwell on earth shall worship him. After the 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, Jesus will land on earth to lock Satan the devil away, put him in prison for 1,000 years. No more Satan, no more deceiving the nations for that 1,000-year period. Revelation 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal on him. There's no way Satan is getting out of prison for 1,000 years. so that he should deceive the nations no more until the 1,000 years were finished. After the Hitler 2.0 beastly person is destroyed by Jesus, once Satan is locked away in Revelation 19:20, then the beast person was captured, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in his presence by which he deceived. There's great deception along with this worship system, which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast. You may have heard about the mark of the beast. And those who worship his image. These two were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. Verse 21. And the rest of the beast power's military outfit were killed by the sword which proceeded from the mouth of him that sat on the horse, identified as Jesus Christ. So the beastly person's army gets destroyed. Now, how will that happen? We're given a great description in Zechariah 14:12, the description of how this beast person army gets destroyed. It's a little gruesome. Zechariah 14:12, their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. You've got to stop and picture this for a second. There'll be warriors, there'll be fighters, there'll be soldiers, and they're all prepared to go and destroy Jesus, who landed in Jerusalem and started rearranging things, and the beast power doesn't like it, so he sends these soldiers, and it says their flesh will dissolve while they stand on their feet. It's like something in a monster movie, right? Then it says their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues will dissolve in their mouths. If you take a moment and try and imagine that, don't take too long, because you might have nightmares. But that's what God's going to do to the soldiers of the beast power who's trying to attack Jesus in Jerusalem. This Zechariah 14:12 description is what people call the Battle of Armageddon. If you want to know what it looks like, go there to Zechariah 14. So as the tribulation begins, the Hitler 2.0 person destroys the nation of Israel and the Israeli army. Luke 21:20 says, and you will see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. This is a clue. If you happen to be in Israel, get yourself into the mountains quick, because bad things are about to happen. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation, its destruction, its ruination is near. Verse 21, let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains, for these are the days of vengeance. Luke 21:23, for there will be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, which you have to interpret. They'll die in battle. They'll be killed in the war. And then some of those who don't die will be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. So it says Israeli military, Israeli people will be killed during the war. It says Israelis will be taken away to prison camps in all nations around the world. So God says they're going to, that's what's going to happen to Israel. We can't imagine it. We know that they have a lot of enemies. In this case, it's the Hitler 2.0 enemy and Satan's worship system. Revelation 11:2. But that leave out the court, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they shall tread the holy city, Jerusalem, underfoot for 42 months. And that works out to be 3.5 years. Jesus defeats the beast person's empire, takes control of Jerusalem, so he can make Jerusalem the true worship center for all nations. God showed Jeremiah what this would look like in Jeremiah 3:17. At that time, Jerusalem shall be called the throne of the Lord, and all nations shall be gathered to it. In Zechariah 14, it shows how they'll be gathered together for the Feast of Tabernacles to worship King Jesus and to hear what he has to say. All nations will be gathered to it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem, and no more will they follow the dictates of their evil hearts. And the evil hearts is what you're seeing on planet Earth today. Hitler 2.0 and the worldwide devil worship will be replaced by 1,000 years of worshiping King Jesus in Jerusalem.